There we go. Here I am on the cool. That's working. Let's see, how does that look? Look at the Buddha. Check out the Buddha. There's the Buddha in my background. Buddha, he's got my back. Hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Doing the back. What's going on over here? What is going on? Butt. There's the whole butt thing. It's a butt thing. And welcome. Thanks for joining me on the second installment of AstroLunaChick's Guide to the Universe with me, AstroLunaChick. And I'm trying to stream live to YouTube. I don't know how that's going. But if you're listening to me on eTalk, make sure that you can check out the chat room. You might want to make a profile so you can chat in the official eTalk chat. But if not, then you're just listening. And I hope everyone is doing well on this Sunday, fun day. And it's a 1 day. It's 7/23, 2023. Add all that up and you get a 1. Sunday, fun day, 1 day. So I'm glad you can join me here. We had a really interesting week. I want to say it was a little cray. And hello to Dave in the chat, Dave Cruz of Beyond the Strange. I hope I'm streaming to YouTube. I'm going to go over there and check it out. I'm doing like a StreamYard thing. It should be going to YouTube, but who knows? I'm just testing it out. So it's all good. It's all good. And later on in the show, if I have some time, I'm going to take phone calls. And when I do, when I announce it, you can give me a call at 914-222-1231. And I'll try to do a live reading. Last week, it didn't quite work, but that's okay. The calls came through, but on the other end, when you guys were listening, for some reason, the caller's audio wasn't working, but that's cool. I think I got it. I think I've got it. So I think we're good this week. And if I can just kind of keep it under a certain amount of time to leave room for calls, that'll be good. We'll make it work. It's all good. And yeah, so where are we at in this time space continuum this week? Let's do a recap of the week. Oh my God. It was crazy. It was really crazy. We were having some very intense aspects. The sun opposing Pluto. That was really intense. It was, what did I see? What did I observe? A lot of, Pluto is a formidable planet for being a small planet. And it is a lot to do with power, how we wield our power struggles. It has to do with death and rebirth. And Pluto at the end of Capricorn is the end of the old system. The old system is dying. So what's coming out now is all the hidden stuff. Pluto rules the underworld, criminal organizations. And what are we looking at? We're looking at the criminal organizations within our government. That's Pluto and Capricorn. So the sun opposing it is shining a light on that. Now, the other thing that happened this past week is the North and the South node changed signs. That's a huge deal. That's huge because the North and the South node of the moon, which are not planets, they're points, they're mathematical points. And they have to do with it's the orbit of the sun and the orbit of the moon. It's the point where they cross. It's a calculation. So basically, because the nodes stay in opposites, they're in opposite signs, and they've been in Taurus and Scorpio for about 18 months. The nodes stay in a sign and then they shift. So what it deals with is where we are collectively focusing, what we are building towards, that's the North node, and what we are releasing, that's the South node. So it's what we're all working towards as a group, what we're all dealing with, balancing, because it's not really one or the other. We're really trying to take from the South node, which is the past, and integrate it in and channel that into the North node, which is, you could think of it as our true north, like a compass, true north. So it's where we're going. South node is where we've come from. South node tends to be comfortable or where we get caught up. And the North node is something we have to develop. So the node's changing signs because it doesn't happen that often. It's every year and a half or so. It's a big deal. And because the sun opposing Pluto is making a grand cross, we have it's a cardinal cross because they are cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And they do indicate the cardinal, or the changing of the seasons, right? So spring, summer, fall, and winter. So it's important. It's a big crossroads for us collectively. And that was very heavy because when you look at things that are dying, that have to change, that need to transform, and um, things that are passing away. It's difficult when you're looking at living in a world where the old stuff is still here, but it's not working, but it's still here, but the new stuff is beginning. So we're laying a foundation for where our society is going or where we're going in life, but this is a big crossroads. So the old still exists and the new is coming in. So we need to integrate it. So pretty powerful week. Venus went retrograde yesterday, another big deal. That should be very interesting. So Venus and Mars kind of traveled together for a while in Leo, and then Mars went into Virgo this past week. Um, and so Venus was slowing down and stopped pretty much about 28 degrees, 29 degrees roughly of Leo. And then now it's starting to reverse and go in retrograde. You know, we all talk about Mercury retrograde. We're all very familiar with that. Mercury, the mind, communications, information, blah, blah, blah. But Venus, now Venus is the planet of love, relationships of all kinds. It deals with finances. It's our values. It's our possessions, our things that we value, what our values are. It's love in terms of relationships and how we show love and how we need to receive love. So Venus is different, you know, in everybody's chart. We all have it in different signs. And so this is going to affect everyone differently. It's not everyone, it's not the same for everyone. Um it'll be different for everyone, but on a general collective level, we're dealing with relationships, we're dealing with finances. There's issues going on in the banking system. We are, again, like I was saying, the old world passing away and the new being built right underneath it, or on top of it. I mean, haven't we done this for civilization? You know, centuries. Our civilizations are just built right on top of other things. Um, so yeah, the financial and banking system. I think we're gonna see a lot of stuff during the Venus retrograde in regards to cryptocurrency, the value of physical goods and assets, gold, silver. Um, I think real estate is going to take a hit. But anyway, we're going to see some crazy stuff when it comes to the retrograde of Venus, and I think Venus goes direct. It's early September. I want to say it's September 4th, but then it has to go direct and go back over those degrees. So it's going to take another month, like into October, to really straighten out. So we're in for it. It's not a bad thing. I was really thinking about how going back to the past, how retrograde planets kind of bring us back to the past, and past people come back into our lives, or we pick up, maybe a project or a hobby, or just, something that we might have put aside for a while, or we remember, wow, when I was a kid, I really used to love to dance, or whatever. I say dance because it's Leo. There's a lot to do with creativity, performing arts, and children. It could be our own children, it could be our own inner child. But thinking about the way Venus operates in Leo, Leo really is about giving attention and love and admiration and receiving it. Leos are very generous, and we all have our love language, and um we tend to love in the way that we want to be loved, because isn't that just natural? It's like, well, I just love it when people do stuff for me, or they give me things, or they say nice things to me. So wouldn't I think, oh, well, that makes me feel good, so why wouldn't it make somebody else feel good? But maybe in Venus retrograde, we're looking at, well, this is how I need to feel love. This is what makes me, um, this is what opens my heart up. It makes me feel loved. It makes me feel good to this give love in a certain way. But thinking about what other people need, if you're only thinking about your own needs in a relationship and only giving what you want to receive, then that's pretty one-sided and it's kind of narcissistic. Not to say that we don't all have a bit of, we all have narcissism. There's a healthy narcissism. You have to understand yourself. You have to focus on your needs. But in order to have healthy reciprocal relationships, there has to be a consideration of what the other person wants and needs, and who they are. It's not just about my ego, identity, selfhood. That would be, let's say, the sun in Leo, which, coming back to today, the sun has entered Leo. So we're definitely looking at how we express ourselves. And with Venus, it's how we express ourselves within relationships, and who we are, how we present ourselves. So there will be a lot of that going on. It is a great time, really, to really look at your image, let's say, and rebranding yourself, possibly. Um, if you're somebody that puts yourself out there in the public eye, and maybe you used to do it and you haven't done it in a long time. Well, I'll use myself as an example. Um, so last year, up until the end of last year, I was doing a lot of podcasting, very regular, and then it just dropped off at the end of the year. I took a break, and now I'm just coming back, really. So looking at um my creative project, let's say, with broadcasting. I'm doing the e-talk thing and resurrecting the YouTube. So that's a retrograde thing. That's definitely stuff to go back to. They talk about Mercury retrograde as being like a time when lovers from the past come back around. Actually, I would say that does happen, but it depends. Really depends on your own chart. But if anything is going to bring old lovers and relationships and even old friends from the past, it would be Venus retrograde for sure. Um, so it's all very interesting. It's very interesting. I mean, last week, Venus wasn't even retrograde, and I bumped into somebody that I used to date. Not for a long time. I don't know, maybe it was 6 months or so. And we didn't, I mean, we ended up on good terms. And I mean, it was just kind of a thing of I don't know. We didn't end on bad terms. It just wasn't that way. We just went our separate ways, and it was fine. No animosity. But I bumped into I bumped into him in the gas station, and I don't even know if he recognized me, but I was just, like, "Hi, how are you?" And then I flitted away. But it's funny because, of course, I have to go back and look at his chart, and he has Leo rising on the degree of the station of Venus retrograde, which is conjunct my progressed Jupiter retrograde. Just see, this is for me. My Jupiter just progressed from Virgo into Leo, which is very different. I mean, I've lived all of my life with a Jupiter in Virgo, which hasn't been all that fun. I'm really thinking that Jupiter progressed back into Leo on Regulus might be a little bit more fun. I don't know, but it's interesting to see the alignment of that in my chart and that guy's chart. Haven't heard from him. I think he's working out some of his Leo issues. I don't want to make comment about it. He's a really nice guy, but a very interesting character. I know I really tend to attract unconventional weirdos like myself. But anyway, so that's kind of how it goes. And it depends on where the planets are in your chart. But I guess you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into the aspects for the week because I want to keep this flowing and I want to be able to take some calls. So let me just check the chat room here. I know I had Dave and Elf and Jeff Fernell. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. And Dave Cruz, who's a Leo, says hooray for Leo. Hooray for you, Dave. I think it's going to be a good Venus retrograde. It'll be really good. I know we talked about some of the stuff that you're working on. So I expect it'll be a good Leo retrograde season for you. And I've got the elf. He says he's only listening, have to use the other phone, so no chat. Break Gigi's leg. I don't know what it is with you and Gigi, Elf. You like to bust his balls, don't you? It's so funny. You guys are funny. I am so happy you guys are here. Thank you. Thank you. I think there's a chat on StreamYard, but I don't know if that is the actual YouTube chat. Maybe. I've got Dave chatting in here. Woohoo, you go, girl. Oh, yeah. No. Nah, you know what? I'm not going backwards. I think his life is pretty much still the same. And it won't work out for the same reasons. I don't know. For some reason, you know how it is like when like you love somebody, but they can't receive that love. Like they don't think that they're good enough. And they think, oh, you couldn't possibly, once you find out about how screwed up my life is, you'll leave me, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm not dealing with that anymore. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I have all the compassion in the world for people's insecurities and triggers, but work it out. Know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to convince somebody of how lovable they are. Like, really? If you really need me to convince you that you're worthy of love, we got a problem. Like, we got a problem. Anyway, moving right along, little doggies. I'm gonna share my screen. That'll only be visible on YouTube. If you go back and you listen in the archives, you will see that. And maybe someday, rumor has it, we are going to actually have streaming video available on etalk.tv. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? That's pretty cool, right? And then I will be able to share my screen with everyone. That's not going to work on eTalk. But if you want to look in the archives, don't leave eTalk. Stay here. Go to YouTube later if you want to see the 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 graphics of the chart that I am about to share with you right now, because sharing is caring. And here we go. I love sharing my screen. I love it when I do a reading and I'm like pointing to the chart like, "Do you see? Do you see what I'm talking about right here? It's right here. Can you see it?" All right. So, I think I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. So StreamYard is sharing a window. But anyway, someday we're going to have streaming capabilities on etalk.tv. Right now, you can see my videos from my YouTube channel. They're not in order. The very first one that you click is an old one, but it's there and we're working on it. So, yeah, so starting with July 23rd, which is where we're at right now, we've got the sun, which has just moved into Leo. We have the moon in Libra at about 6 degrees of Libra. So that was a really nice way to start out the day when we have a nice aspect between the sun and the moon. So the personality, the sun, is vibing. It's in sync with our emotional self, because Leo being fire works really nice with the moon in Libra, which is an air sign. Libra, seeking balance and harmony. It's an air sign, so it deals with communications. So it's a good day to talk about yourself. Yeah. Libra is very aesthetic, and it does like for things to be, when you're talking about aesthetics, physically in balance and appealing. It is ruled by Venus, so it's very Venusian. But that's a nice aspect to have for the day. What else do we have going on? And I mentioned it's a one day. So if you're not familiar with what I like to do with the date, reducing it down to the numerology of the day by adding all of the digits of the date. So today is a 1. So we go from a 1 to a 9. When I look at the building of the energy, you start at a 1, you end at a 9. So on 9 days, you will see things ending. It's a completion of sorts. So if you're tracking an energy pattern or a situation, I like to use it for that. And also building things in progression with the numerology of the day. If you understand what Tesla was talking about 3, 6, and 9, and how that relates to, how do you say it? Well, it relates to the phi spiral of creation, right? So anyway, I mean, that's a whole topic for another time. So where was I? I'm off track. Yeah, so what else do we have? We have Mercury making a square to Uranus. So that's some cool insights and communications, and maybe looking at how you can change things up, get out of a rut. That's a great thing to do. What else do we have going on this particular day? Well, all week we had Mars opposing Saturn, and that was kind of pushing through blockages and dealing with some kind of resistance with Saturn, or maybe insecurities in some way, anything that's holding us back. Saturn, something that we're working through, delays. And Mars in Virgo, very can be very frustrating, and there's definitely a nitpickiness to it. There's kind of a cranky vibe. It was a little bit cranky this week. I mean, there was that layer of it. Overall, it wasn't too bad, but the intensity with Pluto, because it's like, I got this deadline, this has to get done. It's like everything all at once. And the intensity of it was definitely wearing on people. The other thing I think with Mars and Saturn, um, pushing yourself past your limits and feeling tired, definitely feeling drained, exhausted, tired, energy leaking. This has energy leaks all over it. And we're going to see a similar aspect, not exactly, but maybe we might encounter a little bit more of resistance later on in the week. By the end of the week, it's just an exhaustion, perhaps, or it's I don't know, there could be a little bit about losing faith or feeling insecure maybe, or hitting an obstacle, hitting something that we um weren't anticipating. That's possible. But let's move on. What else? So yeah, we got that Venus there. Mercury and Venus are moving towards one another because Venus is retrograde and Mercury is direct. So on the 24th, Monday, tomorrow, we have a 2-day. Yesterday, I'm sorry, today and tomorrow. So Mercury is making that square to Uranus, which causes action, and it brings in communication and ideas and people saying things. But also, what I did not mention is that Mercury is conjunct Lilith, Black Moon Lilith. Again, it's a point, not a planet. And Lilith is what we call the apogee. It's the furthest point away from the sun. That's what it represents. But in astrology, it's part of the shadow, and it can be problematic. It can be a little, well, in Leo, I don't know. I'm seeing a little bit of a jealous energy here. It's definitely rebellious, and with Uranus, it's very rebellious. Um, but there could be some stuff said off the cuff, decisions made because somebody is butthurt because Lilith in Leo it's got an identity issue and doesn't like for its to be, I don't know, it just doesn't like to be slighted, and it needs that attention. And here's the other thing I was thinking, and I tweeted this about imposter syndrome or puffing oneself up because you don't feel like you're good enough, and so there's a fake it till you make it thing. But I think the aspects during this week are going to show the soft underbelly of people who actually don't really feel good about themselves, or that need to self promote, rather than attracting attention just based on just being who they are. Like, we're gonna find out who are the real ones and who are the imposters. It's just kind of the way I'm looking at it too. Let's see what else is going on. The moon will be in Libra, so the moon's in Libra today and tomorrow, and the next day too, I think, actually. But yeah, so the moon in Libra, it'll make nice connection to Mercury. Let's see, it'll make an inconjunct towards, you know what? It's going to square. Okay. So it's going to square Juno. Juno has to do with partnerships. So there could be something going on with marriages this week, coming to sort of a crossroads. And it does have to do with the emotional security in the home, motherhood, the role of motherhood, perhaps. But there is a challenge and a difficulty with um, Juno squaring to Chiron. So Chiron is in Aries, and that's dealing with a lot of masculine issues and issues around identity and selfhood, and expressing that. So there will be a challenge between Aries and Libra, and the nodes are there now. So there's a big focus anytime any of the planets, or let's say in this case, the moon, it's going to bring, I mean, it's not like, oh, the moon is in Libra, everything's going to be fine. We're all going to be balanced and happy and diplomatic. No, that's not the way it works. It's there will be a challenge, and there will be some kind of a challenge having to do with marriage, possibly partnership, because it's Juno. Juno is the wife in mythology. She was it Zeus's wife or Jupiter's wife? So Roman and Greek mythology, you have Hera, which is, I believe, Roman, and Juno, which is Greek, let's say. So but Jupiter was Zeus. So we're talking about husband wife relationships, patriarchal type issues. So we're talking about like the balance and the fairness and in marriage, perhaps. I don't know. But maybe we're all on some collective level looking at, if it's not our own marriage, maybe we're looking at other people, or we're looking at our parents' marriage or our ideal about marriage. There's some kind of issue going on here. Who knows what it could be? But when we're talking about Aries and Libra, it's the self and the other, and how do we balance our needs with the needs of other people, right? We don't want to like give it all away just to keep the peace, but we can't be completely selfish either. We have to consider both people in the relationship. So there is a conversation going on. I mean, there's thinking and maybe looking at some new ways or new ideas with Mercury squaring Uranus, right? Or some sudden change. I mean, it could be even economic because Jupiter is in Taurus, but there's something shaking the stability. And with Lilith there could be some fear, there could be some jealousy. I don't know what it is, control issues. I don't know. But there's a conversation coming because Mercury is moving towards Venus. So let's go later on. So we're talking about, listen, this is how the numbers work. Sunday today is a one day. One person, me, right? Tomorrow, it'll be about me and other people because we're talking about two. The next day, Tuesday, as I fast forward, it's me, you, and the other person, or me, you, and the third thing that's created, or mother, father, child, right? Isis, Osiris, Horus, because 1 + 1 does not equal 2, it equals 3. Dropping some deep esoteric knowledge on y'all. All right. So the other thing that was going on last week is called a yod, forming with, it has been going on all week, all the past week with Venus, because Venus slowed down, goes to the end of Leo. It makes what we call an inconjunct to Pluto and also to Neptune, which are both making an aspect to one another. This is called a yod. It's also called a finger of God. So somebody is going to come along with some information when that Mercury gets to Venus. There's something brewing here. It sounds scandalous, and I am here for it. With Venus at this degree in Leo, we're seeing a lot of celebrity type stuff, public figures, It's a very powerful degree. It's the degree of Regulus, but not really, because Regulus is now progressed into Virgo. It's at like the first degree of Virgo, and we're talking like thousands of years cycle here. So, but it's close enough for rock and roll. But it's Regulus. It's a royal star. It's one of the royal fixed stars, and it, there's four of them, the royal fixed stars that represent the archangels. So this is important. It's very powerful. It's very impactful. So you could think of a yod as sort of like, well, first of all, it's triangulation. And if you know what triangulation is, you know that narcissists do it. So this could be like a three-party situation, but it's the two energies of Neptune and Pisces, which is totally dissolving any semblance of boundaries, or it's just total formlessness. It can be very delusional too. With Pluto, right? That power, that structure, that old time religion. Ooh, there we go. Pisces, religion, Capricorn. Yeah, wonder what that's all about. I can't we're not going to go into that right now. But anyway, the focal point is Venus. So it's either Venus shooting its beams out to Pluto and Neptune, and the power and the delusion or illusion, right? At the writer and an actor strike kind of makes me think of this. There's going to be something that comes out, because Mercury is going right towards Venus, and Mercury is going to, old Hermes is going to stir up some stuff. I don't know what this could be. So let's see. So that's the 3-day. That's the 25th, right? Venus is making a sextile to the south node. What? Wait. Am I on the 25th? Yeah. Okay, so the moon is at the south node, and that's going to release something. Whenever the moon is on the south node, there's some kind of an emotional release. And it'll be something having to do with relationships or women or whatever. Hang on a second. I just got a message from Dave. He doesn't want to interrupt, but are we supposed to see something besides you on YouTube? Yeah, I thought I was sharing my screen because he doesn't see the chart. Well, I don't know. I thought I was screen sharing, but maybe I'm not. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. I don't know. It's not sharing. See, these are the bugs that I'm working out. What is this? It says I'm sharing, but anyway, whatever. We'll figure it out later, because who looks at the chart anyway? I know you don't. You're not looking at the chart. So, don't be sorry, Dave. I appreciate it. How else would I have known? How else would I have known? But, well, you wouldn't have known that unless you were on YouTube. Are you on eTalk also? Get those numbers up. Let's see. I can't see. Timeout. Oh, look at that. 6 people. That's very cool. I'm happy you guys are here. Let's see what the chat's looking like. I'm totally ADD right now. Where was I? Dave says he's everywhere. Kind of like Santa Claus. All right, so let's go back to Tuesday. That's the 3-day. There's a triangulation going on here, and take that for however you want to apply it in your life. And it's kind of making me mad right now because I'm not able to share my screen. I'm really kind of pissed because I got my Zoom. I'm sharing with Zoom. Forget it. I can't futz with this right now. Anyways, I just want to go back to astrology. I just want to do astrology shit with my friends. Um, so there is something about relationships for sure, and I think it has to do with maybe the lack of reciprocity or somebody's not getting enough attention. Um, yeah, I don't know. Or thinking about your needs in relationship, like also Venus in retrograde could have us re reevaluating our look. Because Venus is aesthetics and it's beauty, and glamour and all that stuff. Um, Feeling a little, like maybe we're not happy with some things and we want to change them. It's not necessarily the time to do that because you can go and like dye your hair blue. And then when Venus goes direct, you realize that it's hard to maintain and blue can very easily turn to green when you're trying to strip it out. Take my word for it. Thank God my license, the picture on my license is in black and white because my hair was green that day. Yeah, I was so mad. I had a hat and the lady's like, no, you can't have a hat. That's not going to work. I'm like, I'm so mad right now. So in that picture, I'm just like, not happy. Yeah. So let's see. The tension is building. The excitement is building. Let's just say it's excitement. But it's, whatever information we're getting or whatever happens in the beginning of the week, it just builds. It builds. It snowballs until somebody's going to say something or the big reveal comes, let's say. So, Tuesday, it's 2:44 right now. I got 15 minutes. All right, I'm going to try to take one itty bitty phone call at the end of the show. So that's Tuesday, and Wednesday, we got a 7:26. That's a 4-day. Fours tend to be pretty stable. Like, this is the thing that is building. It kind of hits a plateau. And then it's like, what are we really looking at here? On the 26th, that's we're almost conjunct, almost conjunct with the Venus, conjunct Mercury. This looks at, oh God, I hope not. I'm not going to say I hope not, but I wonder if that person that I bumped into in the gas station might try to contact me because because the sun opposite Pluto is like obsessing about something and feeling completely blocked. And then the sun goes into Leo and it's like, all right, I'm gaining my confidence. Mercury is in Leo. So I see Mercury like going towards Venus, wanting to approach someone with a proposal, with an idea, with an offer or whatever. I don't know. I'll let you all know how it goes. Oh my God, astrology in real time. But there is a square from Chiron to Juno. So there's some kind of a healing that needs to take place in terms of partnership, in terms of the past, and maybe, getting over it, like whatever it is, or clinging onto old ideals of what a relationship has to look like or whatever. Moving on, we'll look at Thursday. We got July 27th. It's a 5-day. Yes, Dave, that is the call-in number, 914-222-1231. So it's Thursday. So Thursday, everything is building up to Thursday and then into Friday. Thursday is the day that Mercury exactly conjuncts Venus at 29 degrees of Leo. What could this be? I always see All right, so when Mars was here several weeks ago, I saw um a lot of aggression because that's Mars, but it had to do with celebrities and public figures. This degree generally, I mean, in ancient astrology, it represented royalty and the king and the queen. So, like, what is our modern day royalty but celebrities, right? And who's on strike? This should be fun. I'm looking forward to this. Um, yeah, that's Thursday. Five is the fifth house. Leo is the fifth house. Children. That's the other thing that I've been seeing because you all know what's going on with that. Um, expect more. I expect some big news. I don't know what it will be, but I can kind of guess. On that day, also, what is going on? We've got the sun is making an uncomfortable aspect to Saturn. So, feeling blocked or restricted in some way, but it will have something to do with, again, like a continuation or more of a revelation of whatever was going on, whatever blockages, whatever frustrations, whatever criticisms, whatever insecurities were happening earlier in the week and from last week. I mean, this could be something very simple like inflammation or skin flare-ups or I mean, I'm not saying it's all like deep stuff with people psychologically. It doesn't have to be. It could be health stuff. But Mars is an irritant. Um and Saturn is related to Capricorn, which is related to skin. And I'm saying that also because I know this is making aspects in my chart and I have bug bites all over my forehead. So that's why I'm saying. But this could be flare-ups with people. But the sun in Leo, let's say we want to express our love or put ourselves out there and be creative, but we're encountering a block, something that's going to delay it, whatever it is. Um, you know, it could have something to do with what was going on last week too, when Mars was exactly opposite to Saturn. That could be. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But that's Thursday, and the sun also illuminates things. The sun is representative of fathers and leaders. So that's another thing that could be happening. And Saturn in Pisces is can be incarceration, arrest. Yeah, wow. Okay. So there's something I'm also noticing that Venus and Mercury will be at the degree of Trump's ascendant. I believe it is 29 Leo or around there. We could be seeing something with that. It's possible. So let me just move on because I'm running out of time and I want to be able to I'll probably go a little bit longer because I think Dad said I could. Jeff said last time I could have kept going, but I wanted to keep it to an hour. Anyway, so let me wrap up the week. We're at Friday. By the time we get to Friday, it's 7:28. It's a 6 day. I think we'll see a little bit more like balance and reciprocity and justice, perhaps, because we have the moon in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is about law. So we are dealing with justice. We are looking at Venus and Mercury sextiling the South Node in Libra. Libra again has to do with justice and balance too. What else we got going on? We still have the sun making that awkward aspect to Saturn, and so we're still dealing with some kind of obstacle, or we find something out that is delaying or putting an obstacle in our way, perhaps. And we're just going to have to check it out. I mean, it's going to be different for everybody. Like I said, I mean, I'm just throwing out there what could be some of the things that we're encountering. Yes. So that's Friday. What else is going on? We still have Mercury and Venus. Mercury has passed Venus by that time. And again, what I was talking about, that yod, that finger of God, pointing the finger right at someone, it feels like. And so Mercury is going to give a voice to that. It's going to bring out some kind of announcement, information. I mean, that actually really looks, these are not bad aspects. I'm just saying, this is if somebody wants to like debut something that they've been working on, or like come back into the public eye, it's really kind of great. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think Venus making this aspect to both Pluto and Neptune that are both retrograde, it's like uh, it's like resurrecting something from the past and doing it even better than before, with more power and more vision and creativity. There's a whole lot of charisma happening here. I like it. Again, I mean, you could be watching this happen. You could just be watching somebody's star take right off. And they seem to come from out of nowhere, but there's a whole lot that went into where they are today. Or it could be somebody making a huge comeback. So it's not all like crazy stuff. It's not all, you know, it's not all doom and gloom. And we have a nice aspect starting to form between Mars in Virgo, which is really working hard at the details. It's really doing the grunt work. It is laying the foundation with the raw materials that we've been accessing and stockpiling, um, with Jupiter in Taurus. So Taurus is raw materials. Jupiter is expanding. But this is also, again, Jupiter in Taurus has been expanding our focus on tangible goods, resources, money, the money system, financial. There's a lot of laws and the legal stuff that came in with Jupiter going into Taurus is like, we can actually see those things play out because there's trials and congressional hearings being televised. So because Taurus is a very physical sign, it's like, here's the physical evidence of something that you're building. But Mars is really, really focused on perfecting it. So whereas we could have a lot of, cranky, nitpicky, judgmental bullshit going on with Mars in Virgo, but Mars in Virgo, I mean, strip it down, it is very hardworking, and it's looking to perfect, and it is discerning the details of certain things. So it's not a bad thing. Not at all. So that's a nice aspect. I mean, you need this earth to ground. We need the Taurus, we need the Virgo and Capricorn to build what we're trying to build. But the moon in Sagittarius, I mean, that really works nicely with the sun in Leo. It's very optimistic. It does make a square to Mars, so there can be some friction. It could have to do with, our vision, but the work that we have to get done. it can do with it can have to do with our beliefs. So, Sagittarius moon is all about its beliefs and philosophies, and we may be judging other people based on what we believe and what our philosophy is. So, that's Friday. It really doesn't look too bad. The moon is out of bounds. We're not going to go into that, but it could be the emotions can be high when the moon is out of bounds. So on Saturday, the 29th, it's a 7-day. We have the moon is squaring to Neptune. So it could be like, what is really real? What is really going on here? Our beliefs can be challenged. Our version of reality could be challenged. Now, by this time, we've had Mercury. So between Friday and Saturday, by Saturday, Mercury it changes sign. It goes into Virgo. So Mercury is also it's a ruler of Virgo. It rules Gemini also, but it's more at home because Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Sorry. So we are getting more into the details. More of the details are coming out. We're really inspecting things. We're making discernments, making judgments. And what do we believe? But I think there's just kind of, when you're talking about Mercury in Leo, it's kind of bombastic. It's like kind of over the top. And then Mercury going into Virgo, it's a little bit more practical and humble. So that's an energy shift right there. Maybe it's like you start this project or you agree to come together with people, let's say you commit to doing something, putting out some kind of creative thing, right? And then it's like when Mercury goes into Virgo, it's like now you're thinking about what all entails in that. What are all the details? What are all the details that go along with that? Like, how are you going to get there? Do you just like throw out this vision and say, I want to do XYZ? And you tell everybody and you're like, hey, like, join my club. I'm going to do this. And everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. Oh my God, that sounds really awesome. And then everyone waits for you to show up and do something. Well, you have to actually do something, right? They said that they would join your club, but they're waiting for you to take the lead. And if you don't actually do anything, my point is, you need that sort of Mercury in Virgo to iron out the details and say, who's going to do what? What am I going to do? What's my responsibility? What's your responsibility? What are all the things that are necessary that have to go into the creation of this thing to make the dream happen? So, if that makes sense. So that's Saturday. It's like we might be faced with a little bit of wanting to escape. That's another thing. Moon square to Neptune. But we will see things that we didn't see before if we're paying attention. So let's see what else we have going on. Then that's the 29th, and it's a 7-day. Then we go to Sunday. It's an 8-day. Excuse me. And let me get my screen back. I was just checking the chat. I heard a bloop. You know that little bloop? Somebody blooped, but I don't know where they were. Were they in eTalk or were they in... Oh, there's Jeff. Hi. Great message. Thank you. Right. So I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. Sunday, it's the 30th. It's an 8 day, so we're almost to the 9. Eights, I find, have a lot of resonance with like physical resources and money and business. I'm not really big on numerology exactly, but I do know a little bit of it, and I know that people with like life path 8 tend to be sort of about increasing their wealth or managing their resources or building a business, that kind of thing. So that's an interesting thought for that day because the moon is in Capricorn. Capricorn is very businesslike, though the moon is going to be making an awkward aspect to the sun. So there's something about the ego personality that is um maybe coming into uh contact with an obstacle or a delay or an insecurity, maybe, or even like, oh gosh, I want to get out and have some fun, but I got so much work to do, right? And so the sun is coming off of that awkward aspect with Saturn too. And moon in Capricorn and Saturn, because Saturn rules Capricorn, it is about the responsibilities, the work that needs to be done, the just really buckling down and creating some kind of a routine, a structure. This is all Saturn stuff. This is all Saturn and Capricorn stuff. So if you don't what's the saying? If you fail to plan, then plan to fail. Some kind of thing like that. But they're like, I don't know, it can be as simple as, you gotta do the wash, but you really wanna go to the beach. Could be could be something like that. Um, so all right, so Mars and Jupiter definitely coming into harmonic resonance with the moon. We've got that makes an Earth trine. So there's a great potential for um really creating something and making it physical. You can think about it, you can dream about it, you could talk about it, you could really be passionate about it, but if you don't take the practical steps and plan it out and have other people help you, I think the moon in Capricorn this day is going to be like, you know the buck stops here. If it's not working, then I need to maybe fix something about how I'm approaching it, or what my participation is in it. Because Moon in Capricorn is pretty serious and it takes responsibility. It's accountability for the way things are, and but it's a good productive day. I like it. I wanna say I like it, and that all resonates with the 8, really creating something on the physical, realm, so to speak. So, that is the week. Um yeah, I don't know. I really wanted to I could keep going. I could keep going about Saturn in Pisces right now, which is retrograde, which makes it very strong. I know a few people who have Saturn in Pisces, and I'm trying to look at them and see what the common denominator is. There seems to be a thing with boundaries and maybe accountability, issues with the father that I could say, for sure, because I know them personally, I guess. Um, Maybe some addiction issues because Saturn represents, difficulties, obstacles, karma. Um, I don't know. And Pisces has the association with poisons and substances and alcohol. Like alcohol is ruled by Neptune. But I'm not, that's not to say that everybody struggles with that, but whatever the issues are that we're dealing with Saturn, I think they will come up. If they haven't come up last week with the Mars opposing Saturn. It just feels like unconscious blockages, and then my mind goes to responsibility, accountability, fear, insecurity, um, masculine issues in terms of taking responsibility, father figures in general, um, and maybe the lack thereof. Like, it's really hard to be a parent if you didn't have one, a father if you didn't have one, or relate to the masculine if your father was absent. So it's a lot of stuff like that coming up. At the end of next week, Sunday, when we end up the week, we still got Mercury in Virgo, and it will oppose Saturn. So maybe we'll be able to talk about the thing, whatever it is for all of us. So, yes. And I think that wraps up the week in astrology. And let's see what's up with the chat. Dave, it wasn't you. What wasn't you? Did somebody fart? StreamYard. There's a chat there. There we go. What is that? What? Jeff says next week what? Dave's comment. Jeff says next week what? I don't know. I don't know what that is. All right. So I can take phone calls now. Let me shut off the do not disturb. Somebody called. And I had my do not disturb, and they left a message. How much do you want to bet that was Elf? Okay, so Jeff says next week we could start for the calls. I think he's talking about the eTalk. eTalk.tv, people. We're going to have our own line. Rumor has it, word on the street, that we're going to have our own phone line, so all of the hosts can take live calls. Yeah, baby. We're big time. We're big time. Nanny boo-boos. That's very cool. I'm psyched. Yeah, but I'm going to turn my Google Voice back on, because it was on Do Not Disturb, so that someone can call. Is it off? Nope, it's off. Should we listen to my voicemail? There's no transcription, so I hope it's not naughty. Let's play it. It's only 4 seconds. Nothing. They didn't leave a message. Don't you hate when they do that? And I don't know who it was because I don't recognize that number. But anyway, if you're out there, you can call in. Maybe I'll play a commercial. What happens if I play a commercial and somebody calls in? Don't call in. Forget what I said. Don't call in. I'm going to play a commercial because that's what I'm supposed to do. On eTalk.tv, and let's say I'm gonna play someone else's show. I mean, not their show. Commercial. Someone else's show. I don't know. I don't want to screw it up. What is this? Oh, I don't know. Jeff, I'm looking for a commercial for your show, but I can't find any. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. I'll look for Dave's. Anyone else? Don't be offended. It's just that this is off the top of my head. Let's see who I can look for. Yeah, these look like shows. I don't see any spots. I don't know where to find them. I'm looking for a small spot commercial. How about this? Commercial. How easy was that, right? I have my commercial. Yeah, let's try this. Alrighty then. Yes. That sounds amazing. Jeff Renell says we will have live stream video next week. Whoop whoop. That is really cool, Jeff. I'm stoked. Super, super stoked. Does somebody want to call in or what? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? 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 That's okay. If no one wants to call in, I am going to sign off. And I'm really glad you guys were able to join me here today. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to have to figure out now how to share my screen on video, but that's fine. It's all good. Oh, somebody be calling me. Hi, Dave.
Are you done or are you still on?
I'm still on, but I'm done.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. I just wanted to call in real quick and say hi. It was a great show. And I'm sorry. I would have called in sooner, but I wasn't sure.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you called in because that way we get to test out how it sounds and um and make sure that everybody can hear you. So thank you for calling in. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, thank you everybody really for being here, but you especially, Dave, because you've been really, really helpful for me in getting me out there, getting me on eTalk and making sure that I've got all of, the technical stuff taken care of. So mad props to Dave. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. And yeah, it's going to be great on eTalk when we do live video next week. And all you have to do is
Yeah, that'll be really, really cool. And let me go to I have another caller. Let me grab this one. And thanks for calling, Dave. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
What's up?
Oh my God. There's an elf on the line. There's an elf on the shelf. What's going on?
What's going on? Hey, can you look into my stuff and see when it's good time to start getting towards business? Picking up my business to work.
For business and work, absolutely. I think I've read for you before on Dave's show. Am I right? Did I read for you? Because I'm thinking I actually have your chart in here. I just want to see. I think I do. Yeah, I do. I have you in here. Let's see. Okay. Oh, so it's September 14th, 1969. Yeah. Are you still there? I think we lost him. Hi. Drop the call. All right. So September 14th, 69, 6:02 a.m. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So Mars going through Virgo is going to cross your ascendant. So what that means is up until about yeah. Later this week is more like you will feel more in your element, and you'll feel more, probably, I'm gonna guess, like more focused, more energy, because where Mars is right now, um and actually where Venus, Mercury, and Mars, they're all behind the scenes. So the ascendant, that's the rising sign, and the house before that is all the hidden stuff. It's behind the scenes. So when the planets go across the ascendant, that's like a coming out. So I would say that things get more active for you towards the end of the week, where you're taking action on things and kind of ironing out the details. And then into the first week of August, I feel like until the first week of August, you're still kind of getting your footing and making your plans. But by the first week of August, you're ready to announce it. You're ready to talk about it. It still feels a little bit somewhat behind the scenes, but that could be you're not fully launching, or you're still collaborating with people behind the scenes, maybe to tie up loose ends, or you know what, there could be somebody coming in August with a little more, to add to the picture, perhaps. But yeah, I really think, yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, coming today, tomorrow, we've got one job for him. So I'm kind of wanting to do it his way, which I know is wrong because I do woodworking, so I know what's going to work and what's not.
Yeah.
So, and he gets it done the first week of August. So, good deal.
Yeah, I think August 10th. August 10th is like a peak, or it's either a beginning or it's a peak, or it's I would say that's really when things start and pick up for you. Yep.
Good deal. Thanks, Don.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. That was Pat, aka the Elf. If you know him, you love him, and he loves cookies. I wonder if Keebler knows that the Elf is cheating with Oreos. Question I'm pondering. All right, you know what? I'm going to wrap it up. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I think we're good. Thank you so much for showing up, everyone. I hope to see you again next week, where I don't know, I guess we'll be streaming live stream video or something. I don't know. It will be fun, whatever it is. And thank you. So if you want to get in contact with me, if you'd like to book a session, you can email me at astrolunachick@gmail.com. You can find me on social media. I'm on Twitter, AstroLunaChick, Facebook, Instagram, same, AstroLunaChick, or email for booking information. And I am here on etalk.tv every Sunday, 2 p.m. And we'll be taking more calls again next week. So until then, ciao for now. Goodbye, YouTube. Goodbye, YouTube.